Hello and welcome to the North Bank podcast. I'm your host Ollie and I'm joined by Stef and Chris as ever. Hi guys.
Good evening.
Good evening, how are you?
Oh, all good, all good. Still basking in the glory of an away win. First time in a while.
Yeah, that was delightful.
It was. Well, we'll have a look back on Bruges 24 hours after the event and then we'll look ahead to top v bottom on Saturday at the Emirates where Wolves come to town, probably vying for the title of worst Premier League team in recent memory. So I'm deliberately bigging it up so it's the biggest shock of the season when we fail to win.
Oh, don't.
Well, on that, I would like to say hello to all our listeners. Obviously, if you're listening on Spotify or Apple, where you usually get your pods, you can also watch us at North Bank Pod on YouTube. And it'd be really good if people could drop into our comments. Not only does it help, raise the visuality of the pod in the algorithm to other people, but I'd also like to know that, especially because we're playing Wolves, who are bottom, 2 points, no win this season. What's your expectation? Because we might get into this later, based on some of the WhatsApp messages that we've been sort of sharing. What's your sort of expectation? Are you just happy to get the 3 points? Or are you expecting a minimum of a certain amount of goals, perchance? So let us know what's par for you against Wolves at the weekend and, what would be, exceeding your expectations. We all know that a defeat will basically shake the Emirates into its foundations and imply that the world will end. But what's the expectation for Wolves? Leave a comment on our YouTube channel or wherever you get your pods, and get in touch at North Bank Pod.
I'm quite excited, and I was reminded of that. Oh, like a crush a grape. I'm quite excited at the prospect of chatting about how much we should beat Wolves by.
That's a reference for people under 60? Well, maybe over 40.
Yeah, possibly. That's kinder, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I asked you guys a question earlier on today to give you a bit of thinking time. Everybody fit. Let's assume we're playing a Champions League final tomorrow. Everybody's fit and available. I would like you to name our best 11. Who's taking their first shot at it?
I'll go for it then. Okay.
Go on.
So this is Champions League final tomorrow.
Yeah.
Everyone's fit. Is everyone in form?
Everyone's fit and firing.
And am I taking into account the opposition, perchance?
I thought about that. It's the best possible opposition we could be up against.
Okay. I think majority of the team kind of picks itself. Raya in goal. Back four, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, Calafiori.
Right, hang on. Chris, you in agreement so far?
With the back four,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, me too.
And
Right,
Raya.
okay.
Good. Okay. Midfield three. There might be one that may be debatable.
Go with two first. The two obvious ones.
I'm going with Zubamendi and Rice.
Chris?
Yep.
Right, me too.
Okay, my other... Should I do the other certainty in the team?
No, stick with the three in the middle.
Okay.
Go on.
The other one, I've got Odegaard.
Chris?
Yes.
Yeah, me too. Right, okay.
Oh,
and
brilliant.
I suspected this, so we're what's that? Is that 7 for 7?
Good.
Right. So
Front three.
the other certainty?
Saka.
Yeah, Chris?
Yep.
Okay, now, go on then.
Here
Wide
we
left
go.
and up front.
I've got 2 question marks next to these names.
I have as well.
I've got Havertz and Trossard.
So have I.
I
Yeah.
actually didn't. I've got 3 in each position. I didn't pick one.
You absolute
Well, you have
boller.
to.
You're
Okay,
the guy who
I'll do it
brought
now.
this
I'll do
up
it
in
now.
our
I'll do
WhatsApp
it now.
group.
I'll do it now. Havertz and Trossard, yeah, I'd have to agree. Yeah. So the reason I asked you that, yesterday's starting 11, 3 players from our best 11.
Mm.
Correct me, Raya, Zubamendi and Odegaard.
Yeah, that's right.
3
Calafiori and Saka came off the bench.
3 players started from our best 11 away from home in a Champions League and won the game 3-0
Okay.
to a team at a ground where they'd scored 7 goals in their previous 2 Champions League home games against Monaco and Barcelona. No minnows. the fact that there's even any negative discussion about what happened yesterday is madness.
And
this is what we're up against. As in, this is what we're dealing with. The context, just on that, we've had 93 injuries since the start of last season. Only Brighton have had more injuries than us. I think only Leeds this season have had more injuries than us.
93?
Yeah.
So, recurring injuries on the same...
Ødegaard's had 3 this season. The 2 shoulders and the knee.
Wow. Okay.
Missing our 2. We had our 4th choice right centre-back. Oh, no. Was it a 4th choice? 3rd choice, probably. No, 4th choice, yeah. Saliba,
White, Timber, Mosquera. And then Norgard.
Whilst missing Gabriel, our back 4 yesterday was no member of our best back 4.
Well, Rice has played centre-back in the past as well. Would you pick him over Norgard?
No. Well, we'll come to it later. The team we picked for Wolves, how many players that will contain from our best 11. But just to give a bit of context for how we're doing at the moment, and yes, some of those were purposefully rested. They could have played if it was a Champions League final last night. Then yes, we wouldn't have necessarily gone out with that team. We don't know about Saliba. We haven't heard anything. It was a matter of days. But as you pointed out, Chris, that was a couple of weeks ago. It was a matter of days. Now, we are still, there are days in weeks. So we
don't even know what the injury is as well.
No, knock. He described it as a knock initially. That was it. But I think if it was anything more serious, that someone like the Hand of Arsenal or someone else would have got wind of that and it would have kind of slipped out from the club somehow. Very difficult to keep a serious injury to someone like Saliba quiet. I mean, people will ask questions. But anyway, so a fantastic 3-0 performance yesterday. We did our instant reaction pods, but Steph, 24 hours later, any kind of further thoughts on how we played and the game itself?
Generally, my view of the game has got more and more positive as time has gone on, because I sent to you after we'd done the instant reaction a list of the fixtures and the results, and there were only 2 home wins all of yesterday's fixtures in the Champions League. It's different to the Premier League, having gone away to Villa and lost, and the fact that we're going away in the Champions League and getting 3-0 victories that were relatively comfortable. I might talk about some of the openness and chances conceded later, but generally just very good, and some individual standout moments. And I don't think I fully appreciated what a moment it was for Gabriel Jesus to come back onto the pitch, because 11 months, second ACL injury. That could have finished off many a career. So for him to come back shows a real level of resilience and
do so
positive
well.
attitude. And he did
Smashed
great.
The bar.
Hit the bar. Oh, he's a wonderful player. He's the mercurial player. The real, get out your seat, don't quite know what he's going to do next player that I sometimes think we lack.
I think Arsblog described it this morning just as a little kind of afterthought. Wouldn't it be great if you could marry Gyökeres's finishing power with Jesus's mercurial talent? Yeah,
of course. Yeah,
we touched on it yesterday, didn't we? How different they are and what brilliant skills they bring and how they complement in different ways. But yeah,
which is why it's ridiculous that people after the game have been comparing them. Using it as a way to kind of criticise Gyökeres, and it's like, well, no, he's just not that guy, is he?
Yeah.
Chris?
No, all I was going to add was as well, just nice to see Marley Salmon coming on as well, this kind of conveyor belt of talent. I think he's been with us since he was 8 or something ridiculous. So it's just, a good feeling all round a day later, and I'm sure we'll touch on other things as we do the little takeaways as well now. Yeah.
Just a few stats. Our XG was 2.97 with 11 shots on target. And that wouldn't include Jesus' one because it hit the crossbar. So Zubimendi with his 2 assists. That's the first time in his It took him 256 games to get 2 assists in 1 match. I think that's to be acknowledged. Chris, we'll come to that. Okay. And the other one that was quite interesting was we've scored more goals since the start of last season in the Champions League. We've scored more goals from outside the penalty area than any other team. We've scored 9. And it points to maybe the different personnel that we've got now. Would Martinelli have taken that shot on had Madueke not done what he'd done earlier? I don't know. It's competition for places.
I do think there's been a little shift in, have a go. Like Ødegaard has been encouraged certainly to let go. All right, we criticised him a week ago for putting it down the keeper's throat too often, but at least he's having a go. All it takes is one little deflection, and so that there is an evolution there, I think.
And players like Eze and Madueke, it's more natural, or certainly Eze, more natural for their game. Trossard has scored a couple of bangers from further out as well. And Martinelli last night is beautiful. I know, Steph, there's an aesthetic appeal to hitting the underside of the crossbar and going in.
Sure.
I don't know, maybe I'm thinking back to Pires. But I do love, and Paul Merson before him, I do love a player on the left cutting inside onto their right foot and just curling it into the far corner.
100%.
If that's, I'd like the thunderbolt underside the crossbar, Tony Yeboah style as well. But anyway, right, go on.
Oh, I was just going to argue as well that Arteta might be most pleased with the second goal, the tap-in header from 2 yards.
No, I think it's important
because of the build-up and the positioning of the player and the gambling at the back post. The winger being there. He was very much. Arteta was the man behind Raheem Sterling's best season and output for Man City, because it was about the timing of his runs and getting in for those tap-ins at the back post. So
they're the goals that you're more likely to score. That's the thing.
But they're worth just as much as a 25, 30-yarder.
Yeah, well, they're worth... Yeah, and you're more likely to score the close-up ones, is my point, rather than the Thunder Bastards.
Yeah, the XG from Madueke's second goal would be a lot higher than the XG from his first goal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, takeaways. Chris?
Man of the match. It's got to be Noni. Hey, Noni.
I don't know that one. How does that go?
Well, with all the references today,
it's a madrigal. It's like the old sort of medieval madrigal. I'll have to come up with a tune someday. The thing as well I wanted to pick up on him was just in the way that he represents the sort of chaos factor that we wanted in seasons gone by, where we felt it was too predictable to control FC, etc. And it just shows that Arteta is embracing that, and Eze as well. That we've got this kind of mercurial talents that are game changers. They can do something in a moment and change a game, as evidenced yesterday. And he was getting a bit of a hard time before because the end product sometimes wasn't quite there, but we kind of knew it was coming. Well, I felt it was anyway. I just felt that it just needed, to sort of break the dam, and then it would all flow. So I'm just thrilled for him, because you can see it meant so much to him. And I just feel like, as well, credit to Arteta generally for evolving and bringing that type of player to the club.
What impact do you think it might have on Saka, if any?
See, well, Saka is a completely different... It's like comparing, as we did a minute ago, Gyökeres and Jesus. They are totally different players.
Position.
Yeah,
place in the team.
I think Saka is more likely to start because he's more efficient at the moment. That's, he's the shoe-in for that position, unless his form suddenly takes a dip. I think he's always going to lean into Saka as a first choice. Simply because he is just more efficient. And until Madueke matches those numbers, I don't think he's going to be.
But there is a question mark over left side attacker. And you can't do much more than score 2 goals, 2 different, such contrasting goals as well in a game away from home in Europe. You talk about forcing the manager's hand a little bit. I don't know. It has to be it's what you want. Has to be a conversation at some point. If he keeps doing that, then what you want is you want Saka to up his game. Now, I say that with qualification. That's already a very high bar. But Trossard has upped his game. You sent something through about our top goal contributors this season, and Trossard's sitting top of the list with 11 goal contributions. It's 6 and 5 or something like that this season in all competitions. So nobody in this parish certainly was predicting that 2 months ago. And yet here we are because of the competition, perhaps. So Saka's output's fantastic. He's so efficient. He's not playing well. He gets an assist or a goal or both. That's great. Imagine him upping his game because he's got some for the first time, not just support, like backup, but competition for his play. So, watch this space kind of thing.
Yep.
Steph, man of the match.
Yeah, I've got Madueke as well. Because of just the contrasting things with that first goal, you referenced the way he held off the player and then had the gumption to shoot the way he did, the positioning for the second one. And I just love the fact, he's got more Champions League goals than Cole Palmer now. He is rightly raising the question about a starting berth in the team, whether that is on the right or on the left, it doesn't particularly matter. And what a wonderful problem to have. I just thought he was exceptional.
Is it Rory, a Chelsea fan? Rory
Jennings.
Rory Jennings, that's it. Right. So he started this TikTok account where he's talking more generically about football, and it keeps his Arsenal comments or videos keep coming up on my timeline. And he's actually really good. He's really interesting as well. He's not like Rage Beatty. I know he has been on other platforms, but he's not on this. But if he represents Chelsea fans, they are sick as parrots for two reasons. One, Madueke, he said, that Madueke goal last night, he said, that struck like a dagger through my heart. It's like, because we've if we were a proper club, we'd have sold Madueke to Arsenal, that's fine, and got good money like we did, that's fine. But then we'd have gone out and bought Eze instead of Jamie Gittins, who's worse than Madueke. We've gone out. This is the type of club we are. This was his. I thought, yeah, brilliant. Inject it into my veins. And then he continued. I thought, oh, excellent. There's more. Trossard. He was their panic buy. These are his words. He was their panic buy. There we were. We beat Arsenal. We got Mudryk. We blew them out of the water. And now he's got more speeding tickets than assists. And Trossard, what's he become? And so I just thought it was a nice little reminder about how we're perceived.
Yeah,
the other side.
I mean,
I
don't want to talk about Chelsea too much, but I mean, for me, it's about the culture. I think other players, Mudryk might have thrived or had a better chance to thrive had he come to Arsenal because of how much further along and settled we were.
Well, he'd have been allowed in the first changing room as opposed to Chelsea had to build a second changing room because they had so many players, didn't they? They were just buying everybody. But anyway. Chris, which player impressed you then beyond the man of the match?
I would say David Raya.
He did have a few saves
actually,
to make.
He did. They weren't like worldy saves, but they were ones that you've seen keepers let go and maybe not hold on to and spill. He was safe hands throughout. So again, I just feel like his bar is so high, and not literally, obviously. But thought he was great.
Steph, do you have
Zubimendi? I thought he had a quite quiet start to the game, but once he had sort of settled into it, the fact that he's got 2 assists in a game for the first time in his career sort of shows the level of input he was having. And I think, especially in the second half, he was that like strength in midfield that allowed us to boss the game a little bit more.
And in attacking sense as well.
And in an attacking sense, he and Rice are proper midfielders. Then neither of them are true holding midfielders in a I'm just a screen for the defence kind of way, and nor are they pure like attacking players, number 10 creative players. They are, they're a bit of a throwback in the terms of just covering the ground, everything between the boxes, very much their area to dominate. I thought Zubimendi is special.
And to have absolute trust in each other's ability as well, which I think helps. Chris, positive takeaway.
I think you touched on it earlier brilliantly with that example of how we only had 3 players from our chosen 11 playing. So I've just wrote so many changes, yet spirited, cohesive performance and a great response after the Villa game.
Amen. Steph?
Yeah, I've mentioned it already, but Gabriel Jesus' return, and I just think it will be interesting that he's come back at this point, because I think Arteta was asked, I can't remember if it was around this game or certainly when he was starting to make his return, Gabriel Jesus, about if there were plans that maybe he could move elsewhere. And Arteta was pretty definite in the sense that, no, he's with us. And I just think there's this thing of the club have put so much into him and supporting him, and he is so desperate to come back and prove himself, that I think actually where I might have been, of a mind to think, okay, could be the time to sort of cash in because we don't know how he's going to hold up, I can totally understand the want to keep him around for the season, because actually, if he stays fit and everything goes well, he can also contribute massively.
Well, yeah, with our injury record, we had Marino playing as an auxiliary striker.
Is that. Yeah.
So, from his perspective, it's World Cup year. If he wants to get himself back into is Ancelotti's the Brazil manager?
It is Ancelotti, yeah.
If he wants to get himself back into Ancelotti's thinking, then he needs to play, and that might factor in. But I think he loves Arsenal, and I think he'll hang around. Well, if it's up to us, he'll hang around. We'd be absolutely mad to. I mean, him coming off the bench against tiring legs, 20 minutes. He could do so. Look at the damage he did. Like, this is a first game in a year, or 333 days since he did his ACL. And he created so many chances. Like, I know there's the comparison, chalk and cheese, but he had more touches of the ball and more attempts on goal than Gyökeres in half the time. Again, I feel negligent almost pointing that out, but it's like he can offer us something different. We don't have that. We do have more of that in players like Eze and Madueke. But, Havertz isn't like that. Gyökeres isn't like that. Trossard's a little bit like that. But Jesus has got some twinkle toes. He's got magic feet, quick feet, and he can create something from nothing, which is that chaos, Chris, you were talking about. That's what he'll create. And against tiring legs, bring it on. We're going to need him. We're absolutely going to need him. Right. Negative takeaway, Chris.
Well, injuries is the obvious one because it seems like perennial. It's just ongoing. I had a thought about it, and you mentioned it earlier about the way that Gyökeres isn't getting the service, and I think that's one thing that, on reflection, watching the game from last night, is something that kind of needs addressing, is like the relationship between him and, say, Ødegaard and the other creative players in the team. So that, in a sense, is a negative for me. A
systemic issue, maybe, more than a personnel one. And again, where I read this earlier, that the author of this post was suggesting that Ødegaard was playing as if Gyökeres was a Havertz and Marino style number 9, totally ignoring his runs. And if you're Gyökeres and your creative midfielders ignoring your runs, there's not a lot you can do about that. You just keep making the runs, but if you're not being fed, what can you do? The author also pointed out that this is something that Arteta will spend next week working on. We've got no midweek game. With Ødegaard back fit and firing, and Gyökeres also back fit and firing, that they'll have time to work on this together. So I think it's something that Arteta is obviously aware of, and I think we were improving as a team before Gyökeres got injured, and as we alluded to, his best half of football in an Arsenal shirt was the first half at Burnley, when unfortunately he picked up his hamstring. He did score a goal in that game, but I didn't see it. But apparently everybody, I mean, Steph, you were at the game. He had a pretty impressive first half there.
Very.
So
yeah, it was really good.
So it can be done. We just need to kind of wend our way back to a team that's set out to play to his strengths as well as the other strengths of the players that are on that pitch at the time. Steph, negative takeaway?
The 7 shots on target conceded bothered me. And it plays into what you said earlier about the player who did well without sort of being man of the match, maybe was David Raya. And that's because he's being exposed to more shots and he's being demanded of a little bit more. That's obviously going to happen when you have 2 world-class centre-backs like Gabriel and Saliba out, but it is, can be a little bit of a concern against a team that is a little bit more incisive and are able to punish us for those spaces that we leave open. Villa was a funny one because, that game felt very open as well, and it was just disappointing that it was like a scramble at the end that led to that, and it just worry that if it's a trend that continues, we may come unstuck. It's all good while we're scoring, 3 goals in a game like we did yesterday, but as we've talked about with various stats, the clean sheets are pretty good for giving us a platform moving forward. So let's get big William Saliba back and big Gabby back and see where we can go from there.
Well, Bruges did score 7 goals in their previous 2 home games in the Champions League, so they are quite a potent force going forward in their home ground. But again, not only were Saliba and Gabriel missing, but Rice wasn't there either, and you don't have Timber there either, and Calafiori's not there coming into midfield. We are missing a large degree, so it's only logical, I guess, that we're going to cede more. I didn't make a note of what XG Bruges had, but I know it was lower.
Just
than
over
ours.
1, I think it was.
Okay.
Yeah. So they were good for a goal, but yeah.
So I see some people saying we're not mathematically through yet, but we are. So
basically,
well, we are. I think because of the other games that have to play, that not enough teams.
I think top 8 certainly.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about top 2. I think we've got to win one more, and then if other
one more win definitely, because we're 5 points clear of 3rd place. So 1 win. Obviously puts us out of reach of anybody below 2nd place, which is great. So that's brilliant. I mean, we couldn't have asked for it's a completely unblemished record. Is it 17 goals scored, 1 goal conceded, 6 wins, and we've got, who else did we play? Bayern Munich, Atletico Madrid,
Bilbao
away. PSG just drew 0-0 with Bilbao this week, so that's pretty impressive. So that's good. Shall we park Bruges there and the Champions League for a couple of months till we come back again in January? I don't know what the date is. Don't care. Next year.
Inter away next year.
Inter away next. But more importantly, slightly nearer in view is Wolves at the Emirates on Saturday. So, Steph, I'm going to drop you right in it.
No.
Answer your own question. You posed a question at the start.
Yeah.
Is any win? We all said before the Villa game, don't care, any win will do. Don't care how it arrives. Are we of the same view now ahead of the Wolves game? When 3 points is 3 points?
Not to the same extreme, but that's because Villa are knocking on the door. They're just lingering behind us in the table. So they're more of a threat. So, the win feels more decisive in terms of our league position and security at that end. There will be an expectation on us, as there always is, on playing teams that are towards the bottom, and Wolves are very much at the bottom. But I don't know, there will be, unless something is really calamitous, I will still just be happy to take those 3 points. Like I say, we are the squad, how many was it? 3 players from our best starting 11. There's an element of continuity that I'm sort of striving for with the team, and we're not going to have that maybe for a few weeks. So
we're top in 2 leagues, and we've still never had the opportunity to play our strongest team.
Well, no. So then, therefore, I can put a little bit of a dampener on my expectation to blow teams away in the way that we might dream of, shall we say. That's me being very diplomatic.
Chris, what about you?
Yeah.
Any win will do?
Well, it will do from the point of view of the 3 points, obviously, but I just want to see from that kind of for what it feels like for us as fans after the defeat to Villa. I want to see us turn them over good and proper and get a few goals for the goal difference, because we're now level with City. I think we're both on 19 plus goal 19, difference. Yeah. So, from that point of view, we do need to get a few ahead, I feel. And yeah, like I said, I just think it's important that we make a statement to say that was a blip and that we don't just kind of limp over the line against Wolves.
Do you remember the celebration after one of the Spurs goals against Spurs, and Declan Rice was picked up on the microphone saying, "Let's kill him."
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes. Mm.
Honestly, we are playing the worst team in Premier League history, potentially, at home. No. I watched Wolves against Manchester United. Man United beat them 4-1 at Molineux. I actually don't think... The weakest team that's come to the Emirates so far this season is Leeds United, and we dispatched those guys 5-0. We haven't had as weak a team arrive at the Emirates since then. This is the first time a really weak team, on paper and on the pitch, is coming to the Emirates. Now, I know, and this may come back and bite me. And Steph, you do not have my permission to clip this ever, at all, ever. But Spurs required a last-minute equaliser at home to draw 1-1 with Wolves. So there is that in the back of my mind. However, I just don't think this Arsenal are going to do anything other than wipe the floor with Wolves. I cannot see it. And we have to... I'll think you asked what par was. Par for me is matching the lead score. Why not?
All I would say is the slight sort of mitigation, if they don't, is that we're not playing our strongest team. And that while it's a strong team, we are still... a patched team. We're not quite
not that patched.
Well,
compared to the Brugge game.
I was going to say that
defensively, anyway.
Exactly. I was going to say defensively against Leeds, we definitely had Saliba, Gabriel, Calafiori, Timber.
Name Wolves striker.
Strand Larsen.
Okay, how many goals has he got?
No, I don't know if he's not got many. If any.
Name another Wolves attacker.
Huang?
He's not been playing. No.
So name an attacking Wolves player. Name a dangerous Wolves player.
You're really setting us up for the fall,
I totally get all this.
I feel it this time.
Even the player that scored against United limped off and is unlikely to be available, who scored their first goal at all in the Premier League since the end of October. Yeah, so the bits that I know about Wolves, I've got a good friend of mine, Ryan. He's a Wolves fan, and he doesn't like talking about football at the minute. But there is this thing going on where essentially, because they've sold the likes of Cunha in the past and they've let Neto go a while ago as well, what they've replaced them with is lots of young talent all at once. And so there's a thing with Wolves where if you look at certain spells in games, they're all right. They're fine, but in terms of coping with adversity, the moment they go behind and concede tends to spiral a little bit, and there is a definite lack of belief now that you see in the performances. I watched that Man United game as well. I mean, the delirium when they scored, just because they'd been starved so long of even celebrating a goal was fine.
Was that their second home goal of the season or something like that?
This is it, isn't it? Okay, there's definitely some bad vibes there. The fans are protesting because they just don't like the way that the club is being run. I don't know enough about the situation to know if there's anything sort of more sinister going on, if the owners like asset stripping or anything in the extreme like they've had at the likes of Blackpool and Leeds itself as well. But essentially, just in terms of what's on the pitch, there is definitely something that's massively lacking. And I think, you know, they've really spun it as a very young team. Oh, Nori was the other one that they sold to City. And even though he was a sort of fullback come wing back, was also a very creative force for them. And they just don't have the quality that's come in to replace that. But at the same time, I don't know, can they just keep on losing? I don't know. Like you say, there's something new about this Arsenal. Even if Wolves were in better form, this Arsenal team, at home especially, just have something about them that sets the tone. And especially if Rice comes back into the team, you know, he leads in terms of that mindset. So I get that, yeah, there will be an expectation for a certain level.
There is no excuse. Like, this is top team playing at home to the bottom club. They are already relegated. Strand Larsen's got 1 goal this season.
Well, the point of getting Rob Edwards in, they believe, was really with a view for next season.
Yeah.
Maybe him, because he is a massive fan of the club. I know Borough fans aren't very happy with the way he left because they were flying pretty high in the Championship. But Rob Edwards is outspoken in the fact that he's managed every youth level at Wolves. He's played for Wolves. Wolves are the dream club for him to go and manage. And even though they are in absolute dire form at the moment, he couldn't pass up that opportunity because, like you say, it's probably with a view to reset in the Championship. And it could be that the players that they've invested in, assuming that their spirits aren't broken too much by this season, could do okay in the Championship. You never know. But yeah, away from home to us will be.
They're minus 25 goal difference. They are 13 points from safety. They've only played 15 games. What's the Derby record? 11 points or something?
I think it was 11 points, yeah.
They're not on target to match that.
No.
Any win will not do. We've got to make a statement. I'm firm in that view. It's not a difficult game.
You're going, aren't you?
I am going, yeah.
Oh, for God's sake. Right, so just the thought of standing behind you when we're winning 3-0 and you not being happy just makes me...
What minute are we in?
I don't
care. If it's 20 minutes, I'll be very happy. If it's going into stoppage time, I'll be thinking that's a missed opportunity to, as Chris said, put a bit of daylight in the goal difference column. We know what it's like to win a league, not even on goal difference. Goals scored.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I get it.
Okay. Chris.
Yeah.
On the team, compared to the Brugge game, the lineup against Brugge, which contained, as we maybe suggested, 3 of our best players for starting 11, what team do you think is going to set up on Saturday against Wolves then?
Well, it's injuries notwithstanding. So I've got Raya and then I've got Timber/White, Saliba/Timber, as the right-sided defence. I've got a feeling that Saliba won't make it, so I'm going to go White, Timber and Nketiah MLS as the back four. So it's not ideal, but it should be enough. Zubimendi, Rice, Ødegaard, Saka, Gyökeres and Martinelli I'm going to start as the left berth. So there's no, as I believe Trossard is probably still, I feel like they'll probably say again, if Trossard isn't 100%, there's no point in risking him for this game because we've got a strong enough bench in attack.
The fact that Trossard has kind of re-injured the injury he had, I think it's not worth risking because I think he would, if everybody was fit, he would start on the left. I think his form dictates that, and fair enough. But I can't imagine they'll risk him. Steph, what about your lineup?
Yeah, so again, injuries permitting. I just also wanted to speak about how, albeit some of it was forced, I'm wondering if we're at the point, if one or two more players come back, that we can start to see certain units of rotation. So, albeit some of them were injured, rotated out of the Bruges game, you had obviously Timber, who got a knock, Saliba was carrying a knock, Rice was ill, Trossard had got a knock, and then Saka and Calafiori were on the bench. That meant the likes of White, Norgard, Madueke, Martinelli coming in. And I'm just wondering if a few of those, so Saka, obviously not Calafiori, he's suspended, but Rice, Timber, those players coming in and out, and you see these waves of teams depending on who we're playing. I really want to get to that point where you can have little starting like units, like working out whether it's the front three or whether it's different combinations in midfield, but
almost like two first teams.
Kinda, yeah. But we're sort of still limping a little bit through Wolves. So Raya in goal. I think Timber will come back in. I think White's at that point where he probably won't play him. If Saliba's fit, play him, but if not, Norgard. And then Nketiah, Lewis Skelly.
So you think White won't start because he's played 3 consecutive games after being out for quite a while, even if Saliba's not available?
Yeah, I think so. Midfield 3, Odegaard, Rice, Eze. I think Zubimendi played every minute of that and a lot of people were already talking about, because we had a conversation, didn't we, about how has Norgard not taken some of the minutes out of Zubimendi's legs. And I just think you're playing Wolves at home. You said it, team bottom of the league, so bottom of the league, that we could afford maybe one, slightly more holding player in midfield. So Odegaard, Rice, Eze. Last time we did that was...
Odegaard got injured, didn't he?
Who were we playing?
After about 20 minutes.
Was that Leeds?
West Ham.
West Ham.
Do you think then Rice will be this sort of sole pivot there?
He'll be the 6. Yeah. And then a front 3, I've got Saka, Gyökeres. I think I'm with you that Trossard probably won't start, but might make the bench. I don't know. It's definitely not worth the risk, so I'm going Martinelli on the left.
Okay. My front 3 are the same as you guys, Saka, Gyökeres and Martinelli. I like your thinking, Steph, on that, the Zubimendi issue. The only counter to that is that we don't have a game midweek.
Yeah, I get that.
And it is home to Wolves. It shouldn't be as exhaustive as away to Villa, for example, or away to Bruges even. I like the idea of just playing Rice, though, and having Eze and Odegaard in front. Listen, someone's got to score my 7 goals, haven't they? So, what's our Premier League? No, this is so bad. What's our Premier League record? Is it 7?
I'm not even entering this conversation.
Everton, didn't we beat Everton?
There was a 7-1 in there.
Was it Sheffield Wednesday? Everton definitely, yeah. Everton definitely was 7, wasn't it?
I can't remember. Have we ever scored 8? Did we have a Sheffield United?
We scored 7 at Reading in the League Cup.
7-5, that was, yeah.
Did we beat Newcastle? Did we score like 7 goals against Newcastle in the Cup as well? Theo Walcott did that little slalom thing.
Oh, yeah, 7-3.
So we need to see 8, is what you're saying?
Please.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Okay.
If any of you are just listening to us, these boys' faces are an absolute picture. If we were in the same room, I think I would be dead. I'd certainly
It'll be 89 minutes on the clock and it'll be 0-0 and we'll be looking around.
Well, I won't be in the fucking ground. Steph will have kicked me out.
Too right.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I think Saliba will play. Because, a matter of days can't stretch into 3 weeks. So he has to play. So I'd say Timber, Saliba, Nketiah and Lewis Skelly. I have put Zubimendi, Rice and Odegaard, but I'd prefer your shout in midfield with Rice and then Eze and Odegaard in front. I think Odegaard... Do we want Odegaard dropping a bit deeper? Because he does that instinctively
he
anyway.
Does anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go. He'll have a bit more freedom to do that because Eze can be the auxiliary attacker supporting him.
The
a bit
left
more.
10.
Yeah. Look, he tried it against West Ham and that was kiboshed after however many minutes because of Odegaard's knee injury. And at that point, West Ham were really in dire straits. So he'll be looking at Wolves and thinking, okay, their confidence is shot to bits. Let's try and press home that advantage. And we still beat West Ham. What was that, 2-0? Forgettable 2-0 win.
Okay. The team I had put down was Zubimendi, Rice, and that contains 6 of our best 11, as opposed to 3 of our best 11. The players not included in our best 11 are sorry, hang on. I've got Saliba playing. Sorry, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of our best 11. So that was just to counter what you said, Chris, about, we're not as full of strength as we could be. But 7 of our best 11 could be playing against Wolves.
And also, some would argue Martinelli, Trossard.
Yeah, and the players who aren't considered, the players that we haven't considered in our best 11, Hincapié, Lewis Skelly, Martinelli and Gyökeres.
Eze.
On the bench,
I'm
not having. On the bench, Madueke, Eze, Marino, and Nwaneri. I'm sorry, if this is not 7-0.
Is that your prediction?
No, not quite.
Okay. So you're giving it all that?
I'm not far off it. I've already told you what my prediction is, really. I've told you what par is for me. But, okay, Chris, what's your score prediction?
You're not going to like this.
2-0.
3-0.
3-0. No, I'm not going to like it. Hey-ho.
But I'll take it.
Well, if you're offering me that or a 0-0 going into the 90th minute, I'll take it. Chris, Steph.
You're really not going to like this.
1-1.
3-1, Arsenal.
I mean, you two are probably more realistic. Well, I'm not even sure. I mean, I think they're probably the 2 most pessimistic predictions I've ever heard you two utter.
Behave. No way.
I've got 5-0.
For you.
But that's because it's par. We beat Leeds 5-0. And Wolves are not as good as Leeds.
And we weren't as
fluent then either. Them. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
It all points to 6 or 7.
All from open play, because we're not scoring from set pieces, are we?
Not at the moment, no. Okay. We'll come back. We won't be able to do an instant reaction because it's a late kickoff and we're all at the game. So, which is a shame, really, because I'm really looking forward to, like I told you so, you plums. That's what I'm looking forward to. But we can save that.
I will happily take that.
Me too. Yeah,
we can save that for the Sunday review of the game. Chris, you've got something really quite cool to share with us, but before you do that, I just wanted to... This is more... Since Steph unsettled me with the top 4 nonsense he referenced a while ago, I have looked at the fixture list. So for those of you just watching or listening for the first time, Steph pointed out before the Aston Villa game that in the games we dropped points this season, the opposition had been occupying one of the top 4 positions at that time, and we, lo and behold, dropped points to Aston Villa... kind of what's not propagating that
inevitably.
And so the fear then, obviously Wolves aren't a threat to that, so comfortable 7-0 win, but the next game is away at Everton, who at the time we talked about this before the Brugge the weekend, Everton was sitting in 5th. Now they've dropped a little bit. They played Chelsea, but this is the great news, Steph. We play on Saturday evening. Man City travelled to Crystal Palace on Sunday at 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock kickoff on Sunday. If Palace win, Everton cannot get into the top 4 before we play them. I think that's good. Right?
Palace are playing tonight in the Europa League as we record this. No, in the Conference League, sorry.
How are they getting on?
They won 3-0, cruised past Shelbourne.
Oh, Shelburne. Oh. I've got a nice story about Shelburne I'll share another time. Chris.
Yes.
It's an important day today, isn't it?
It really is, yes. It flashed up on one of my many little things that I subscribe to that it was our 139th birthday as a club, founded as Dial Square, of course, for those of you who know the history. We weren't Arsenal from the beginning, we were Dial Square on the 11th of December, which is today, 1886. And then I dug a bit deeper and found out that the formal founding day was actually on the 1st of December 1886, and that was when the oldest record of the first club meeting was, and that David Danskin, who was one of the sort of forefathers, started collecting subs and bought a football earlier in October, which I love. I absolutely love that. It's like a kick around in the park, collecting subs and buying a football. So the 11th is significant because it was the first match that Dial Square played. It was in the Isle of Dogs against Eastern Wanderers, and we won 6-0. I say we won, Dial Square 6-0. So in a way, this is our sort of founding day, the day that we started playing.
So 6-0 Wolves. Nice little neat.
Well, yeah, Wanderers. There's a Wanderers there. Eastern Wanderers. Yeah. Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Isle of Dogs. Yeah. Dogs are basically wolves.
I like it.
Yeah, there you go.
And do you have any idea? You probably don't. Eastern Wanderers, what have they become?
What did
West
they
Ham?
become? Well, I presume this was all when teams played in like the divisions,
floodlight or
local areas.
It was more southern areas,
yeah.
southern league,
southern floodlit.
So we'll have to look into that, whether Eastern Wanderers kind of morphed into another team or they just died. Possibly. Isle of Dogs, yeah.
Lovely.
It's worth looking into, actually.
Cool.
Yeah, lovely, yeah.
139. Well, happy birthday to us.
Indeed.
Anything else? I think that's a lovely note to leave on. So shall we leave on it?
Let's do
think
it.
So.
Well, I look forward to catching up in the flesh on Saturday. Chris, can you make it on time?
Maybe.
What are you going to blame? Now you know you can't blame the roadworks because I drive past your road. So.
I know you do. I'm not making any promises.
Well, and if anyone else is at the game, come find us, Block 6, Concourse, anytime from probably 7 o'clock onwards, really. And I imagine the atmosphere will be quite good because people have had plenty of time to drink.
So it works.
Absolutely.
Indeed. Right, excellent. Cheers for the chat. Cheers for listening. Cheers for watching. We'll see you on Sunday for a review of the Wolves game and a look ahead to Everton. Till then, cheerio. Bye-bye. Be good.
Bye.
See ya.
The North Bank, an Arsenal podcast. Subscribe, rate and review on your app and find us on your socials at North Bank Pod. Email hello@thenorthbankafc.com and check out our website, thenorthbankafc.com. Produced by the Podcast Company.